Here we've got a 12-volt circuit. So there's a battery at the end. We can consider that to be 12 volts. That current flowing out of the battery is called I. That will be our total current because it hasn't split up yet by the time it reaches these parallel legs. So again, we know these are all in parallel because each resistor is across one another. The current splits up, that's your first indication, and the ends of each resistor are all connected together. Top end's all connected together, bottom end's all connected together. Parallel circuit. So if I want to find the current and I know the total voltage, I need Ohm's law. V is equal to I times R. Now I have the total voltage. So in order to find the total current, which is what's leaving the battery, I need to combine that with the total resistance. Now our total resistance is the equivalent resistance in parallel. So let's do that first. The equivalent resistance in parallel, I go 1 over R parallel is 1 over R1 plus 1 over R2 plus 1 over R3. Now if you watched the previous video, I showed you a way to do that with your calculators fairly easily. All you do is you enter the resistance and use your x to the minus 1 button to flip it, which turns it into 1 over whatever value you've entered. So if my first resistance is 1 ohm, I would simply go 1 ohm and then hit that button on my calculator. I'll show you in pink. On my calculator, it was x to the minus 1. Some calculators, it's just 1 over x. So I'd hit that button. Then I do the next one, plus 2 ohms, but I don't want 2 ohms, I want 1 over 2 ohms. So I find that button, could be a second function, and hit it. X to the minus 1, plus 3 ohms, and then find that button again, and hit it. And that returns 1 over 3. And when I do all of that, I end up getting 11 over 6, or 1.83. And the only thing you got to remember with this technique is that's not your answer, that's 1 over your answer. So to find my answer, I have to flip this one more time. So I take my answer, 1.83, I want 1 over that. In other words, I'm cross multiplying. You can imagine the RP is going to go up to the right, the 1.83 is going to go down below the 1. So I've got to go 1.83 and hit that button one last time. That's the thing you have to remember when you're using the calculators. When I do that, I get 0.54 repeating, or 55 ohms. So now we can imagine our circuit is changed. My circuit is simply like this. I've got a 12-volt battery, and all those 3 resistors are now collapsed down into one equivalent resistance, which is 0.55 ohms. And we're trying to find the total current coming out of that circuit, which would be the same as the one above, because they're equivalent circuits. So again, back to Ohm's law. V0 is I0 times R0. So I'll write that here. We're trying to find I0. So it'll be my total voltage over my total resistance, which is 12 volts over 0.55 ohms. And I get 22.